And hello, everybody. I am Douglas Calvin, and welcome to the Time Excellence Show, where we study time together, trying to make a difference in this world. You can reach me at douglascalvin.com and my organization, and we'll have more on that later, but that's who you're with, and I am, as I said, Douglas Calvin. Today we're going to talk about lifetime. This is episode 3 in our time series. Now, if you've listened to the other previous episodes, we covered time concepts, and we also covered daily time. Today, we're going to look at lifetime in a special way. We're going to stand back and really explore more deeply lifetime and how it affects the way that we approach our time. Longevity. Probably not the most popular subject that you sit around every day and think about, well, how long am I going to live? But it's one of those things that every now and then it doesn't hurt to put life in perspective. And that's what we want to do today. We want to take just a brief time to look at longevity. Now, the data is pretty clear. It's been tracked for years, and longevity is a statistical number. In the United States, there is a number that on average, if you're a human being, 78.8 years is your life expectancy. Well, that for many of you may sound way off. Others of you may be looking backwards and saying, yeah, I remember when I was 78. So it's a number that is an average and one that isn't a guarantee, but can give us some perspective. For instance, if I take the 78.8 years of average life expectancy, and if I were 40 years old, to make the math easy, and subtract the two, I'm going to get 38.8 years. So if I just turned 40, I may say, on average, I've got another 38.8 years to go. Well, that's got another side to it. That means I'm over halfway. So if I'm 40 years old and I've got 38 left, I just crossed the midpoint. If I'm male, it's a little bit different. If I'm male, the numbers are a little bit lower. 76.4 years for a male, and females are 81.2. So females, you've heard, live longer. Well, that number is about 5-year differential. 76.4 minus 81.2 is around 5 years. So, guys, we don't have as much time as the girls do on average. What does that mean? So what? Well, if we take that 78 years, I'm going to round it up to 79 just for talking purposes. On this chart, it's somewhere in the middle. So if we drew a line in the 75 to 84, so somewhere in the middle is that number. This chart is the number of deaths per year per 100,000 people. So if I was in this 75 to 84 bracket, 4,564 people out of 100,000 would die that year, or about, round numbers, 4.5%. If I was older, 85 and older, it's 13,000, or about 13.4%. So here's the deal. If I look below, we know the average is where I have this vertical red line. 50% of the people will die before that red line. And you notice there is a curve that shows people dying earlier. And when I hit that 45 to 54 mark, there's 404. It starts ramping up from there. So 404 deaths a year per 100,000 goes to 870 in 55 to 64 range. Then it doubles again to 1,786 in the 65 bracket. And it more than doubles to 4,564 in the 75 to 84. And then it effectively triples. So you can see the acceleration. So what's that got to do with things? Well, we're not guaranteed that average. We're not guaranteed that 79 years for all. We're just not guaranteed it. And some of us, for a variety of reasons, won't make it. Half of us will make it past it for a variety of reasons. And unfortunately, there's a lot of infant deaths. So there's a spike to get through, 588. About, what is that, 0.5%? About 0.5% die as under 1 year old every year, which to me is sad. Okay, so that's it. We can't count on averages. We cannot absolutely say that we are going to make it a certain amount of years. The fact is, we don't know. We absolutely don't know. Which brings up the concept of seasons. So if we have a lifespan and we look out, it's different from everyone else's. We're also different in another way. We have seasons. Well, you think of winter, fall, summer, spring. Those are seasons, but they're seasons in life, as we all can appreciate. The book of Ecclesiastes gives us some insight on it. It says there is a right time for everything. A right time. So if you look at your life, think about how it's changed and how there's been a right time for various things throughout your life. It starts with a phrase you've probably heard. There is a time to be born and a time to die. Well, we just talked about that. Those times come, and they come without any input from ourselves. We just have to do it. There's a lot of them here. You can read them. If you're watching the video, if you're listening, let me go through a couple of them. You know, there is a time to be sad and a time to dance with joy. Can you think of a time that you danced with joy? Things were going right, possibly your wedding. Things were just wonderful. There are those times in our lives. But there's also those seasons of sadness, of loss, of challenge, of pressure. And those are the seasons that go through, and those seasons do affect our time. Another one, there are a time to keep things and a time to throw things away. There's a time to get rid of baggage. There's a time to get rid of things in our life. There's a time to move on into other areas and really see the possibilities. There's a time to move and downsize all the stuff in the attic. There's a time to keep friends, and there's a time to move on, throw things away. So those are some ideas about time and how it's looked at in Ecclesiastes. So let's just kind of personalize it a little bit. Sit back, listen just a second, and think about your life. Well, we talked about you were born. And then there was childhood. After that, you probably hit those wonderful teen years. Remember those? Then you became what I'll call a young adult. That led to, well, of course, adult. And then later in life. Okay? And then if we get down to Ecclesiastes, you know, at some point, there is a time for death. It's a reality. But those aren't the only seasons. We also have seasons that we maybe went to school. We went to kindergarten. And then we went to high school, possibly. We might have gone to university. We might have got married. For some, there might be a divorce in there. Changes, seasons. We may have had children. We may have had jobs. Job 1 turned to job 2. Maybe to job 3. Each one of those causes a seasonal change. We could have moved in there. There could be a season of move. And there could be seasons of health and also seasons of sickness. So these seasons within the time of what we look at as our life, those seasons are very affected by what's going on around us. And if you look at those, don't you see that the pressures of time changed as we went through them? So as we talk through how we want to look at our lifetime, not only is it limited to us uniquely on how much time we have, but also the seasons are different. The way we look at things and the way we treat them and the number of children, etc., are unique and gives us a special view of our lifetime. So did you know that your lifetime perspective matters? It really sets up how you will or won't make a difference. We've already talked about the 78.8 years. It's not a guarantee. It's an average. You may get more, you may get less. But that doesn't mean you won't fulfill your dreams or your purpose and why you're here. It doesn't mean that you won't make a difference. You know, it starts to make sense then that we live every day to make a difference. We have a different attitude. We can't change maybe the facts, but we can change how we looked at things and how we did them. And we need to think about living every day so that we can make a difference to those around us, to those in our community, and maybe even in the world, to those at work, to those at school. We need to think about that opportunity time that we talked about in the first session of helping others and making an impact. So as the life seasons change, our perspective change, how we look at things, those experiences change how we view it, and also our opportunities change. The types of things that we are challenged with, or that we're blessed to be able to face, change, and that gives us a couple of perspectives. Number one, we look at it and we say, time is limited. There's only so much time that we have, and so we had best possibly make the best of it. Second point, time is precious. Did you know that the most valuable thing you can give someone else is your time? You can give them gifts, but those are replaceable. Other people might have given them, but time is precious. That special one-on-one time has taken out an irreplaceable, limited piece of my life and given it to you, and you give it to others. So time is limited, time is precious, and time is irreplaceable. We cannot get it back. If we throw away time, we cannot recover it. It is gone. It is not, let me go buy that back. We can't. We absolutely can't. And it's that viewpoint that gives us a true time excellence perspective for the future. So what should we do? Well, you've heard it already if you've listened to the other videos. We should use our time the best way that we can. That's encouraging. We haven't been given the same things, but our time opportunities are special. They are unique. And the way we handle them, our expectation is only to do the best we can with what we have been given, because we're going to make a difference where we're meant to make a difference. So that's important as we wrap up this session today, to really think about using your opportunities the best way we can. Okay, how can you keep in touch and learn more? Well, douglascalvin.com is the site. That's an easy place to go, and you can get a lot of free stuff there. You can get a lot of information. If you're interested in a free training webinar on the 7 steps to really accomplish time excellence, go to douglascalvin.com/webinar, and the webinar will registration is handled there. And it's a great piece of free content. Also, I've got other free content, this included, at douglascalvin.com/go/free things, just as if it was one word. go/FREETHINGS. How can you help? Well, you can comment, you can share, you can retweet, friend. Give us a thumbs up, click. Any of these on our sites will help distribute this more widely, because it gets better ratings in the social media. If you want to get on our social media accounts, just go to douglascalvin.com. In the top right is a push button for all of our social media. Just click on those. All it does is take you to it, and do something there if you would, and you're helping others to get it to them. You can also purchase anything from our affiliate partners, for instance, Amazon. If you buy anything, you buy it today. It doesn't cost any more, but a small percentage will come to us to help fund this work that we're doing and the information that we are getting out. And we really encourage you to do that, because it really gets the funding for the videos, and it helps us put a significant amount of free content out for the world. The reach is big, so be a part of that. Do that with us if you would. We would really appreciate it. Time excellence. Maximize your time and make a difference. It's something that is really important, because we've learned time is precious, and it's something that we really want to invite you to be a part of. Well, I appreciate you being on for this session, and look forward for more sessions. Go to douglascalvin.com and go to our social media sites, and we really enjoyed having you today. Have a great rest of the day. I'm Douglas Calvin. Thanks for watching.